Wait for it. Please agree to, and then John, this is all for you, man. Please take it away and tell us what's going on with the company.
Tony, I appreciate it, and I'm honored. Gosh, not only that James is running the show today with Tony, but also that Andrea's on is awesome. I mean, I remember Andrea when she was a district, so that'll tell you how long I've been around here. But it is very exciting right now what's going on, and anybody that had the pleasure of listening to Tony and I speak a little bit got to hear us talk about Saturday, which is awesome. What an incredible broadcast that was that the company had. I'm so pumped up about that. And you know, I've used this as my cover slide. You know, last year it had the same, except not the year 2 on the bottom, but it really has been delivering record success at Primerica since we started this decade of dominance. And our commitment, the commitment from the field leadership as well as home office leadership, is to make sure that year 2, we're just going to continue delivering that record success. And something I got to tell you, we're so fortunate. And our VP, Dave Harms, okay, who probably is an NSD now, he came up with the idea of the field training bonus, you know, and how it would work so well, you know, in doing recruiting, field training, licensing, promoting, those 4 fundamentals. And, you know, I talk about, it was probably 15 months ago, I was sitting in this chair, you know, when I heard that all the licensing centers were closed down. And it shouldn't have surprised me, since the important things like basketball tournaments were already closed down. But, you know, I thought, how are we going to be able to grow our business and without getting people licensed? Field training bonus did exactly that. This is actually a slide from a year ago, which is great. But it talks about, you know, you get $200 credit for every 1-by-1 field training observation. It talked about no maximum to the bonus, which was very exciting because most people I talked to, when they came in, the biggest the bonus was $300. That was as much as it could be. And everything had to be done in 30 days. But this slide actually shows a year ago, the average bonus was $475. And at that time, the biggest bonus was $3,300, which I thought was pretty big. I remember the RVP that told me about his guy that did it. And I thought, that is huge. Well, we fast forward to now, the average bonus is $775. And the largest bonus paid out is $18,600. So it's been amazing. Over $14 million paid out in field training bonuses. And man, we make sure that's a focus of the business. We're very excited in next June that we've taken it to a new level, because what we're doing is anybody that is going to get paid a field training bonus between June 2nd and July 7th, okay, when they press that button, it's going to automatically give you an extra 25% bonus. So somebody who is supposed to get a check for $1,000 is going to get a check for $1,250, which is great. Okay, so we want to make sure folks are taking advantage of that. Now you sign into the app for $50, you complete pre-licensing for $100. So you're going to see that $150, but you've got to do that 1-by-1 minimum, okay, which is $200. We're back to the original $200. So that's a bonus you're going to see, and that can easily be less than 30 days, of $350. What a great recruiting tool that is. And of course, the folks that get through the process and get licensed within 90 days, they're going to also see that extra 25%. Love this, love this, love this. The bombshell announcement, you know, last Saturday, $49 IBA. We are playing our game, because I'm telling you, recruiting's already absolutely through the roof, and it's going to continue through the month of June. So, man, take advantage of that. So you have a ton of people going through that field training process, learning the business and getting licensed. But that's awesome. Something we've never done before. In the middle of a contest, we've heard of adding slots, resets. We've added a location, which is absolutely crazy. For our top 300 folks for the contest are going to win the trip to Maui, okay? So now we're up to 1,500 total slots. The top 300 go to Maui, and still 1,200 go to Marco Island. So in essence, what we did is we added 300 slots to the Marco Island contest, which is great. But you've been competing, everything's the same, still a 10-month contest. still an absolute dogfight, and you still need to take advantage of all those extra incentives out there. This month, unlimited. For every 1 by 1,000 that you do personally, you get 25,000 builders production points. Let me think small. If you did 10 by 10, 250,000 in builders production points. And you unlicensed folks that are part of the field training bonus, all your field training observations count. So not only will you continue to bank $200 for every 1 by 1, but also get 25,000 points for each one. So that is a huge deal. Now, licensing is already a big piece of the formula to win the trip. You get 15,000 points for every life or securities license. But in June, you get an extra 25,000. So that's 40,000 builders production points if you get licensed in life or securities. But it's better than that, though. Not only do you get that credit, but all your uplines all the way through RVP also get 40,000. So you can see, folks, if you're on the bubble, if you're like, John, I don't have a chance, you do now when you take advantage of these incentives. And if you were sitting out fat and sassy in that contest going, I am looking so good, you better keep looking, okay? Because people are catching up, okay? So you need to take advantage of all the incentives, all the important things that allow you to explode your business. And of course, every month you get qualified and play up, you know, for builders production points, which is a huge deal. 75,000 for qualifying, unlimited 5,000 extra points for every team recruit, plus 75,000 more for playing up. So you can see the game plan to do something big. And I just want to close doing my quick commercial for next March, okay? We've canceled it twice. The world's conspiring against us a couple times. But March 18th and 19th next year in Allen, Texas, and I hope I use the word Texas enough when I talk about the agenda, because we are going to have Texas $1 million earners speaking. We're going to hear from Texas top producers, Texas women in Primerica. We're going to hear from great partners and recognition at all levels. I'll tell you, it's taken us a little while to do the next one, but I'm telling you, this is going to be spectacular. So I hope everybody gets after it in a big way. Listen, lots of things going on. Let's compete like crazy. Again, thank you, Tony. Thank you, James, for your leadership.
Thank you, John. That was awesome. You always do an incredible job. Looking forward to eating with you again sometime soon, buddy.
You got that right.
All right, teammates. Well, welcome to the incredible Century Club call. We have an unbelievable guest speaker. I'm just trying to find her on my screen. I know she's here. Ah, there she is. I see her. You know, man, a great friend to me and a great friend to the Arender hierarchy and organization, the one and only Senior National Sales Director, soon to be Circle of Champion. Are you Circle Champion? Oh, yeah, I see you right there. And $1 million earner, my good friend from South Florida, the great Andrea Burkes. So everybody welcome Andrea.
Good afternoon, teammates. Excited to be on. Hi, James. Hi, everybody. Hi, John Water Street. How are you?
All right. You know, I forgot the team, Andrea. I saw you with the shirt there representing our incredible hierarchy, strength, and honor. You know, we just love you guys. So we're going to get started. And today's topic, guys, we're going to talk about building RVPs and growing the organization. I mean, how is that for a surprise, right? And so, Tony, like, is it me? I think I need to change something so I can see, like, can you put me and Andrea like side by side?
That's actually, that's you. So if you do the view, you can do side-by-side speaker if you wish.
Okay.
So sorry.
I won't worry about all that. You just make sure you spotlight her. So I'll figure all that out later. But, you know, Andrea, you know, again, thanks for being here. And man, you are definitely an expert, as your numbers and your income and everything about your business says so. So I'm so excited to talk to you about this topic here. Can you give everybody like an idea of what your hierarchy looks like? How many RVPs you got? How spread out? Where's everybody? Talk to us, Drea.
All right. Once again, excited to be here, honored, and it's my pleasure. I mean, we have been mentored and we have been looked up, the Orlando hierarchy and dear friend with James Watkins, who travels with us everywhere, and we travel with you anywhere. So excited, to be on. As of right now, 18 direct first. Okay, and 24 seconds, and meaning like overall 24 seconds, so that will give us oh my god, 6 seconds and 33 altogether, so 3/3. So 18 first, 6 seconds, and 8/3. Is that what I said? Well, total of 33 hierarchy.
30.
And yes, and we have since 2017 from a location 5691, which you saw. It was the Coliseum. It was literally, guys, a warehouse, just couple AC units in place. There was office space, but we wanted to put 500 people in attendance. That was our goal, right? And we did it. We successfully did that. And as our byproduct of 500 people in attendance, which is the number that sometimes folks don't talk about, but that's like the pipeline, right? Of what's about to pop out as promotions, emotions, certainly then premium, then income. And so as we did 500 people in attendance on Tuesday and Thursdays, then as a byproduct of that, now we open up 18 locations. And I'm saying different 18 RVPs that have opened up locations. We have Homestead, which is like near Cuba. When I go there, it's like, okay, let me pack a bag because it's like far, far away. But to think that Aaron and Lakeisha on the West, James, would drive 2 hours to our location. So what does that tell you? When you find the right person, they'll do the right things. I know that we want our people driving 2 hours, of course not, but then why not? And we would tell them, I remember, be like, hey, you want an office that's convenient, that's not doing anything? Because my pastor always says, a church that's alive is worth the ride. So me and myself would drive I would do it for her. You girls get that, right? We'll do it for the hair. Imagine not for a church, and imagine not for a great opportunity and a great environment. And so these folks were like, hey, rather you want to just be in a local office if somebody's not doing anything, and not for anything more than just like expose them to an environment mindset, and then being, coached by Tiger Woods, somebody that's been top in the state, that we know what we're doing. And that conversation piece right there got Aaron and Keisha to drive over 50 people back and forth, like drive, because they say, how do you drive it? You drive it. You put them in the car, and then how you know they're going to get there, right? And so, yeah, we did that. So anyways, that's Homestead. We have Cold Springs, Hollywood, Pompano, Aventura. Out of the Fort Lauderdale office that you just saw, we had 5 key people there, and the Brutus hierarchy now have their own office. George Charles have their own office. So that's Fort Lauderdale, Sunrise. We're now in Tampa, Jacksonville, Port St. Lucie. I opened up Boca not even 18 months ago, and we just even came to a bigger space downstairs. And I'm not saying this obviously to impression anyway. You guys done tremendous things. I can't wait, right? But as a byproduct of talking about promoting RVPs, having ownership, and actually never working in vain. That's my biggest slogan. Anybody that hangs around me is like, we're never working in vain. Well, one, because if we're working with a purpose, R. Williams always said, when a man goes from a job to somebody with a purpose, you're not working in vain. You're working for something that's bigger than you. But as obviously human beings, we want to see progress, want to see that we're having an impact. And when you start creating an environment where everybody thinks and believes and understand that they can go RVP, we're not the solution. I wish everybody would go regional vice president, because anybody can. I tell them all the time, it's just like the gym. The gym literally is guaranteed. The gym is guaranteed. The only variable is us. During pandemic, we had breakthrough in our finance. I had breakthrough in my fitness, because I'm like, you know what? I've never been the person to go to the actual gym, because I'm like, I don't know how to do all those machines. But funny enough, in the right environment, with the right coach, with the right system, which is like some circuit training, I'm actually excited to show up. I'm actually excited to move forward. And so it is guaranteed that you will go RBP if you do the right things long enough with the right intensity, just like the gym. 90 days at the gym with the right schedule, right intensity, you can see progress. You're not going to build a multi-million-dollar business by any means, but you can start seeing something happen, because more than anything, your commitment. So yeah, as a byproduct of that 500 people in attendance and that focus as a base shop to run large numbers, 100 plus recruits, ran 100 by 100, tapping the state, tapping the nation, but as a mindset that the base shop was in place to promote RBPs, to give everybody that jersey with their last name on it and give them the opportunity for them to run, right, to their own Super Bowl. We want to do it big, we're going to do it fast, but at the end of the day, every person, that has that jersey has the opportunity to, have an amazing company within a company. So yeah, we've been blessed to actually open locations. We talk about it all the time. There's a family in Tampa called the Casper family. You can look it up. And it's a company within a company in the McDonald's, umbrella. And they have 60 locations. And the great-great-grandfather, Fred Gerald, started with Red Cross with one, you know what I mean? But now it's ran through third generation. And guys, they literally sell a heart attack in a plate, 35-cent burger. What we do is so much bigger impact. So of course, we can promote RVPs and get that ownership. So I know maybe I went off tangent, but yeah, that was the goal when we got into the big warehouse. We would say it's like, I always mess it up, I say it's an underground opportunity. No, ground floor opportunity, but how was it like ground, underground? What you trying to do with it? No, ground floor opportunity, meaning if you have marble floors, if it's already looking pretty. I remember Art in one of his videos say, if they're giving you prestige right away, if they're giving you the club memberships and all that, you're gonna not own nothing. You're gonna build for somebody else. But if you have to roll up your sleeve, it ain't pretty. Yeah, dirty carpets, this and that. I mean, you do your best, but like with that amount, right? That's an opportunity for you to go build it. Because there's two ways you can build the business. You either buy it and you own it, or you build it and you own it. And I don't know for you guys, I didn't have the 1.3 million to buy a turnkey operation at McDonald's franchise, because even though I didn't want to be in the greasy business, it is a business that makes money passively, where eventually you and I would not have to trade time for money. And so that's the key ingredient for us today to think about, okay, if I'm not an RVP, let's get to RVP. And if we're RVPs, our goal is to promote RVPs, to secure SVP ownership, right? And then going to getting paid to get paid. I mean, the compensation system is unbelievable. And then we're thinking, oh yeah, SNSDs, but yeah, no, how about 6 generations? I remember there's no way we could sit in front of a render and not know like our compensation through 6. People be like, what? Deer in headlights, say like, no, you don't know what business you're really part of until you start promoting those BPs, because that's what's going to give us the actual freedom. When we think about freedom, we think, oh, it's the money. And yeah, of course. But it's really that we get back our time, that you can do what you want when you want with whomever you want. So James, tell me.
Hey, that's phenomenal. I know you are right. We do, you said it, we travel together. We do things together. And so we just got back from Las Vegas, which was an awesome time. Earlier,
I can't believe you didn't go to Vegas before.
Yeah, that was my first time.
We got you.
Hey, you got me there. Strength and Honor got me, had a great time. It was phenomenal. Loved it. Can't wait until the next trip. But in January, after we went over the $1 million ring, right, and we were celebrating, man, you had a big old event at the office there, and you celebrated the annual awards, and like you had several RVPs that had promoted RVPs last year. So this mindset, like the way you're talking, like since I've known you, we've been friends for years, a long time. Like you've always had this mindset, right? Now talk to us, give us some practical tips. Like how do you build that mindset? You grow that mindset. How do you protect it mainly? Because there's some people not putting them down, but they make money personally producing. They don't have a team, and that's not how they talk. How do you guard this mindset, and how do you grow that builder's mindset that you have, Andrea?
Okay, so first of all, I really believe each one of us have to create a coaching philosophy, a management philosophy, and we don't deviate from that, regardless if we're doing good or we're doing bad. What's really bad in this business? Yeah, like any business, it might go up and down here and there, but that you still understand that recruiting will solve all problems. They say if you stop talking, recruiting, even if it's 1%, 99%, your recruiting will slowly die. So I think if anything, we lead with recruiting, or we do talk about recruiting, but then, and obviously it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense, but do you, and then what are you really talking about? Who are you recruiting, and what are you recruiting them to, right? So are we recruiting people to come in part-time, anytime, when it's flexible, spare time? They give us the leftover of their time, their half-hearted commitment. Well, of course, they're gonna be like, oh, but you say it was flexible. And yeah, it is, I started part-time, no doubt, but in the back of my mind, it was always, they had mentioned I could go regional vice president. So are we planting those seeds that eventually we can reap a harvest? And so we can't go from like, oh yeah, it's all about, just part-time income to eventually reroute them. No, it has to always be with the end in mind, that we want to open up locations. I took off from Big Hitter School from St. Francis Averett, and she talked about the 4 O's. What's the real product in Primerica? The opportunity is the real product. Don't misunderstand the message here. Like, our crusade is even the reason we have an opportunity, right? That if people were to die too soon, right, they're not going to be devastated. If they were to live too long, they can retire with dignity. We have that shot to make a difference. And for those of you that maybe saw the Pure Out Life, I talked about that claim that was defining for me, like, oh my God, the ripple effects even my part-time commitment. Anyhow, so our biggest product is the opportunity to do what? To open outlets of financial services that we can override, meaning eventually have passive income, and that we can own. So it's the conversations I believe we have before and after. I think an out meeting is so powerful. But let's be real. I think it's the conversation 15 minutes before it really kicks off, and the 15 after, whether it be an interview, where you're really like disturbing them. And one of the conversations we always talked about is that the biggest difference between the wealthy and the poor is ownership. See, we got to relate to them. Most of us, we've been brought like in the middle class, right? And so we don't know nothing about owning a business. We want to own a business, but we have no idea. So we got to like give them something that they can relate to. So we always talk about the biggest difference between the wealthy and the poor is what? Ownership. And we have this saying that you gotta own the farm. And so even people that know me now, they give me like cows and donkeys, because like, what do you mean to own a farm? And I don't really own a farm, but the whole point is that in the 1900s, 95% of individuals, they own what they did. And 5% of the individuals work for them. And in the 2000s, like it flip-flopped, 5% of the people own what they do, and 95% of us work for them. So, and if you think about it, for instance, could it be that you were a blacksmith, a doctor? People own what they did. And how did we learn? By becoming an apprentice. We used to like follow people around, right? And so if you really think about it, any one of us, if we were to follow somebody to become a doctor, like we get trained, we get the experience, right? And so the whole thing is, that's the best way to learn. My son, by the time he was not even 2.5, he was doing stuff that, it's like, are you kidding me? It's like, because his older brother. So you put people in an advanced group, they're gonna learn so much faster. So the whole point here is with the ownership is that, see, in the 1900s, let's say my family owned a farm. Let's say it yielded corn, right? And so let's say that farm, right, that yielded corn, it gave me $10,000 a year. So let's say, right, most people would think, hey, that $10,000 is the actual wealth, right? People's like, yeah, because it makes $10,000. So now you're worth $10,000. You're like the $10,000 man or woman. But see, the actual wealth is not the income that the farm gives. The actual wealth is in the farm. Why? Because the farm is the asset. Why? Because the minute I passed away, God forbid, that farm, all the little, right? Farm, the corn, everything will be inherited to my kids. It doesn't matter that they're 5-year-old, 6 years old. Right away, my son become a $10,000 business owner. So see, nowadays we get so caught up in income. I want to go to school. I want to get good grades. I want to get a good job because I want this income, 150, 250, $500,000. We want the lifestyle. But what's the outcome? Because at the end of the day, we could work for 40 years. We can help grow a company. And can we give that job to our son? No, we can't. So imagine most people going to the 10-year careers. And I'm not right. We need the doctors and lawyers, but at the end of the day, unless they have their own firm, their own clinic, they're not going to pass anything down to their kids. So at the end of the day, does it matter how you make your money? Yes, it does. If we focus on income and not building an asset when we die, our kids will have to start at zero. See, he has to get the education. He has to get the experience. He has to go work 2 or 3 jobs to be able to go maintain the $250, $500,000 maybe lifestyle that maybe you could inherit to them, maybe some cars, right? So see, when you own a business, you can pass it on to your kids. That's why you never hear about no poor Rockefellers, Kennedy, Carnegie, Buffett's, because they actually built empires. They were able to transfer wealth to their families. So see, the biggest predicament we have in society today is that we're not transferring wealth. We're not transferring business. People talk a good game about income, but they don't have no outcome. And see, if we don't do that, our kids will have nothing, will own nothing, and will be worth nothing, right? So you can't accumulate wealth by having somebody ever dictate how much money you can make. You can't accumulate wealth like that. So how does that happen? Well, guys, in the Industrial Revolution, guess what? Most people, bought off those corporations that they were selling them a dream. Hey, listen, I'm going to buy your farm. I'm going to be able to give you, that $10,000 that your farm yields. I'm going to give you that for life. And they took a minute, and they started going back and forth. They're like, maybe should we do that? I mean, it's because the way thinking, what? The actual wealth was the income. In the Industrial Revolutions, people that had no idea about the asset being the farm sold their farms. And now, guess what? They own nothing. See, but for everything you give, right? Now you forever enslaved, your great-great-grandson. Because guess what? If they came from a generation of farmers, that's what they're going to do. Now they're going to have to work for that farm. See, and so the mission here in Primerica is that we're going to give people an exit strategy, guys, an end game. And so my ultimate goal is to give these little stories to tell people why they need to own the business. Because at the end of the day, we work for 40 years for $40,000 a year. Maybe 1.6 million will go through our hands, but most people don't even retire with $10,000 to their name. But they give the best years of their life to a company. So we just need to make them understand, hey, listen, you're going to work somewhere, somehow, anyway, for 40 years, right? Are you going to do it just to survive? Or can you be in a position where you could drive your income? By how? Getting other people to buy off. That at the end of the day, if they don't own the biggest asset, which is the ability to earn income, where they dictate the income, where they can drive their income, they're not going to have an opportunity to actually inherit something of substance. And I was listening to Nar Williams' video, and it's unbelievable. He was talking about, he was saying that ownership in Primerica is so unique. And if you think about it, the more that we need to talk about it, it's valuable for 2 reasons. One, because we can have confidence in the company. And obviously we believe, hey, this is a company of destiny. We're doing something bigger than us. God, I believe it's in control of everything, but I only say that because, but at the end of the day, you gotta have confidence in this. This company has gone through so much and it's still standing because what we do is good. At the end of the day, whether you believe what you believe, this company actually does good. You can have fulfillment that at the end of the day, you're making a difference. That's why we can sleep good at night. And that's why we know we're not disturbing people any day we talk to them, because what we do actually matters, right? We're not filling garages with inventories of stuff that, are luxury. This is a necessity. So I say that because you can have confidence in this company that as you have ownership, this company is going to stick around. So when I sell ownership to people, right, this is something that's going to be around. People need more financial literacy more than ever before. And we know people were woken up during pandemic because they were laid off, furloughed, sent home. And when it comes to how they make the money, they're looking for an opportunity. And that's our opportunity there. So you can confidence that the company will continue to grow. And then the ownership is valuable because at the end of the day, it's about having, income not stopping when you're not there. So you're not the product, right? And in this company, you can have that. You can be certain of pushing with people about having ownership with our company as they promote 3 BPs and on their way to SNSD and on their way to Circular Champion, which, the ultimate goal is to be at 30 direct RBPs by the end of 2022. And so why? Because the base shop is in place to continue to promote RBP. And if we're doing it right, with replacement, it's gonna be happening. So guys, like the whole thing is why in Primerica ownership is so great, because we have 2 positions. We have the position where everybody can work part-time. Yes, everybody can work part-time, doing a couple clients a week, 50,000, for sure, even part-time. And there's a mathematical formula, the A531. I mean, there's even a sound clip from Great Orender, and he talks about, hey, just even by going with the how many works, you can get in front of people. And I've done that. I played that game part-time, that game plan actually, to do that, because I knew I could get in front of people by teaching and educating middle class. But the second and most important opportunity is the opportunity to promote RBPs. Why can't we believe that's something that can happen? Because at the end of the day, our founders said that 40,000 he made part-time in less than 2.5 years that he saved. So imagine if he could do that part-time, imagine what he could do full-time. So you have the opportunity, guess what, to build massive wealth, build a company within a company. The promise that this company has always had is that we're gonna have no limits on the money, on the promotions, on the territory, no limits in the size of the company that you can build. There's actually pass ups, you can make more money in your upline. That's my scenario, right? So, there's no gotchas. If you do the work, things are in place. So you can have confidence in this company that as you talk to people, they can have real ownership. And so if you think about it, as I was watching that video from Art, it literally said, that imagine, look at the folks that have maybe passed away and that have left amazing businesses for their family. If you think about Bob Safford, $3.6 million a year as a company, 642 RBPs, 97 SVPs, 64 NSDs, 14 SNSD, 290 people making 400,000. And why do I say that? Because he's no longer here, right? We can never replace that. But he built something that was passed on to generations. And so when you think about it, you and I have that opportunity. If we can only continue to think, right, about the big impact we can have. Andy tells me all the time that I'm like an aircraft carrier. I love his analogies. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. I'm like an aircraft carrier. And so what does an aircraft carrier does? Like literally it's a one-stop shop, right? Like he has everything. And it's preparing aircraft to go to war, right? And see, you and I can become an aircraft carrier, which is an SNSD, right? That can carry those aircrafts into war, he says. What's the word about? Well, middle class America is heading for the cliff. Without us, they will never retire with dignity. There will always be paycheck to paycheck. The number one reason people are stressed out because of money. The number one reason people commit suicide is because of money. Another reason people commit suicide, believe it or not, in Africa, is not because of food. It's because of depression. People need purpose. It says idle time is the devil's workshop. See, with us, they will have an opportunity to belong to something that they'll be proud of, right? That they'll have something to fight for every day. And what's that? Hope. See, hope is the biggest emotion than fear. And so when you think about when they come into our business, guys, they have a mentor, they have an environment, they have a system in place that will give them an opportunity to build a company within a company. So we can become that aircraft carrier. So my question to you is how soon, how fast can you become that aircraft carrier for your community to help go to war against, let's call it the ignorance and dependency that's being taught in schools. I'm like, yeah, you heard the stories. I went into the right. They wanna keep us dependent, ignorant. Well, when they're around it, they're no longer ignoring anything. They're woken. And so I really think it says every generation has their defining works. Back in the day, I mean, many people, right, were putting things in place to, let's call it walk on the moon. Maybe one person's highlighted, but it was millions of people that put work in place to do that. I really think Primerica, right, is put in place for this generation, us here on this call, to have our defining work, and is to help middle class America to have hope in the midst of a pandemic. That's why our numbers have grown tremendously, because we have continued to do our part, to bigger than ever, do what we need to do to get more people. But I really believe that we're going to become not only a household name, but the company in the industry that will have the most significance as we have more outlets in place. If McDonald's is in every corner of every street in the world, imagine, right, what we can do with this amazing company. So yeah, I think what have allowed us to keep that message pure about promoting our VPs, and obviously, we could, I mean, when you say compared to who, compared to what, I mean, only in Primerica, you're like, oh my God, we should be so much farther away. We need to promote more RVPs. But I think what have kept that focus is an environment that's always talking about promoting RVPs. There's always, they understand that as we're going even to Winston-Salem with Andy, or we're thinking about, okay, who's the next RVP? Let's do it right, let's do it big, let's do it fast. But they understand that, hey, we're not here to play around, because somebody's life depends on us. Opening more locations, having people be able to walk in with us. Yes, we have Zoom, so that has helped us tremendously. But yeah, I think a consistent message. So in our op meetings, we always have our mission. Our mission is to open up 50 locations. They might think about, Andrea, you're crazy. Yeah, one day they call me crazy rich. And so like the Crazy Rich Asian movie, but I think it's all what you talk about, and what you continually do. We're about to have our fast start school in Orlando, and we'll have about 1,500 people there, hierarchy, and we should be promoting at least 5 RVPs, that, hopefully a couple more with licensing and situations. But why? Because they understand, hey, listen, every quarter, just like a multi-million-dollar operation, a multi-million-dollar business, we have quarterly reports, and the quarterly report shows that, hey, we need to be growing, right? That we need to showcase success, and the best way to showcase success is local success. I'm excited about what's going on in California, what's going on here, but what's going on in your team, what's going on in our office. And I think that's what allows people to see that this thing is real, when they're like, they see people growing, within our company. And that's one thing that I tell as they come into our business, hey, this is the company that will help you grow within the company. We like those VPs to be those brand new reps that literally carried the briefcase, that took the notes, that delivered the death claims. They'll be the best vice presidents, because literally they're in touch. They know the pulse of the business, firsthand. So yeah, guys, the message needs to be consistent. And I think by talking about the biggest difference between the wealthy and the poor is ownership. Last time I talked about in the middle class, we think it's our home rather than paying rent. So it's just little analogies, little stories that allow us to understand that without this company, honestly, most people are truly heading for the cliff. And we give them an opportunity not only be an amazing client and get financially independent, but even better, have a great outcome and have something that they can inherit for generations.
Man, hey, that was incredible. For sure. Definitely a bunch of wisdom. I got like several pages of notes here. The chat is going crazy over here. That crazy rich statement. You got a lot of people on board with that. My wife watches that Crazy Rich Asian movie like every week at least once, so I definitely get that reference. I love the aircraft carrier deal. That's SNSD. Man, that's just phenomenal stuff, Andrea. I guess talk now about like one of the things that you just do and you are so talented at is making your people feel appreciated and showing love. I mean, man, we went to Vegas. Yeah, we was in Vegas and we had this big old penthouse suite in the Bellagio and we had a special dinner. I mean, it was unbelievable, right? And so that's a real gift that you have. And that's why I love hanging with you, because I learn, right? That and having fun too. So I always tease, I tell my team, yeah, Andrea is my fun element. So when we need to have fun, I call Andrea. And so I'm pretty serious. But so talk about, that, because you treat people right. And that's why you got a bunch of people, man, that's following you in your mission to do what you talk about.
Okay, so two things. As we've been plugging into Render so many years, he says one thing, and it caught my heart one time, of many times, but like he said, he wants to take people places they've never been before, right? That's one of his mission statements. And early on in our career, I mean, let's be real. I mean, we come in for luxuries and life. We're in our 20s, like, I want to change my life and I want to make the money. I don't know about everybody, right? I mean, we're in our 20s, like, it's about me, it's about me. But very quickly in our career, we start realizing, man, when somebody in our team makes 10 grand, I'm actually more excited. Like, right? I mean, pay me the 10 grand too, like, right? But it's about changing lives. There's so many times I have heard, whether it be John Addison and Glenn Williams, and in those Our Story of Primerica videos that said, it's about changing lives, whether it be our clients, whether it be our teammates. And I believe the more people are exposed of what's out there, because we're all living in this box, and we think that life is just the way it is, and we think that we have this erroneous notion that that's the way we're supposed to live, and obviously me coming in from middle class America, in South America, I mean, coming in to the United States, you start realizing, oh, there's bridges, there's that big, like everything's so organized and everything's right. And so for me, even just like the culture shock's like, oh, you can actually have a good life. You can actually have no need for, like, there's no way you could go out with jewelry like this. I mean, I love my country, but like, dude, like, you'd be like, right? And so I say that because even the exposure for me coming to the United States is like, wow, what's possible is my point. And so, and then every time, I see our legends, sometimes we believe, okay, we're in Primerica, it's about inheritance, what we can leave. But bigger than that is legacy. It's what you can live inside somebody, right? Inheritance is what you give somebody, legacy is what you can live inside somebody. And when you think about it, I just quoted O'Render, he says his biggest mission in life is to take people places they've never been before. So I caught on to that mission. Andy always says, if it's not fun, I'm not doing it. You know what I mean? And it's like, so we get to have fun, showing people amazing opportunity and what is possible. As we were at that penthouse, I mean, I have never really studied penthouse on my own. I mean, it's always been to showcase the team and, to have fun with them and to think about what level do we want to play. I mean, we went from doing pizza parties where it's like, 3 people and are they making it? They're coming in. It's $5 pizza. You know what I mean? Only cheese pizza, right? Because we gotta like make money, save money, all that, and to now, be able to travel, the world, with our team and seeing them doing the same for their families, and I think that's the true joy, that we get in Primerica, to be able to give a little bit back, and really, as much as we can, for that brand new person to realize, hey, look at what's possible. Because we've been living inside this box where we think, this is the way it's supposed to be. And it's not just all about money, it's not about material stuff. But I told the team, I mean, the fact that I was able to help my mom as a young 30-year-old and write checks of over $250,000. I don't say that to impress you, but to impress upon you, hey, there's medical treatments available, like in Vida in Scottsdale, Arizona. If you even have an environment, and if it wasn't because of the relationships, in Primerica, so it is so important to build relationships. And I say that because if it wasn't because we were traveling to either see James or Render, I mean, we have never met so many great people. So along the way, we do these trips intentionally, right? To give them exposure, to give them, a reward, as well. But they can create silent accountability too. I mean, the fact that James and Olivia are great friends and they can talk shop and with Wesley, and that's priceless. When we go to the Primerica trips, yeah, we're working, we're having fun, but more importantly, we're building relationships that at the end of the day will help us eventually build our business, but will make us even better people. So all that, yes, it is intentional. The exposure, showing them places they've never been before. I mean, I really believe they changed my palate here. I'm like, if my mom was alive, choosing heaven now, she'd be like, you're eating that, right? Because I think, what's tuna tartare and like, what is this raw stuff and, all these different things that I know she even roast beef, she's like, oh, right? But now, prime rib, like, and it's just awesome to be able to take people places they've never been before. I will never be there if it's not because of somebody that's taken them there. Hopefully, it's you. So you can make that decision to be the impactful person, because I always believe they say it can either be a day in your life or way of life. Right? And for them at that penthouse, I told the team, if we played small, we would never be here with 40 players. With 40 players as a hierarchy incentive, right? And they're just so amazing teammates that, yeah, went above and beyond, taking care of them, because at the end of the day, I realized, always said it, everybody has a sign, make me feel special, make me feel special, let me know that I matter, and it doesn't matter if he's the best baller in the team, they still doubt themselves every day, all day, and you don't know what little notes we can do. So I have like, because we say, well, you can't really say, because, but it says identity factory. And so I have my notes, that I sent to them, or used to send the go, but I know it means the world to me when even a render texts me, or, little Adele send a card. So imagine, and I'm a seasoned veteran in this business. Imagine what that brand new person gets a handwritten note from us. So let's not think about all the big things, even though it gets more fun over time, but the little things to make people feel special, get them that recognition. And I think when art has that books in the Ever Williams system, it says, do take time when you recognize people, the 2 minutes. It's not even about the plaque, it's about the person. And make them feel special. So only by getting better, but definitely we have gotten so much from our mentors, Randa, Andy, about making people feel special, because they do that with us. And if you think about it, we're going to be the next generation of leaders, right? So we better catch on of what made it possible for them to keep people around and want to be around and want to do the crazy things that entrepreneurs do. Because, we're the only crazy people that would rather work 80 hours for ourselves than 40 for somebody, right? And be excited about it, because it's like, I don't want a thumb on me. But yeah, it's a true joy. And then that's how we build relationships, guys. I mean, when you think about, like when I see Joe, I mean, we've gone through the ups and downs, parents not longer here. And so it's this bond, that you'll have. And so, of course, it's like, let's have some fun together too, because we've gone through life together, good times, bad times, but now let's be intentional about having some fun together too.
That is, well, like I said, my friend, you did a great job. You over delivered, if that's possible, every time. We thank you so much for all the wisdom. I look forward to seeing you soon here at the end of the month. And Tony, I know you had some questions or announcements that you needed to make.
Yes, I just want to let everybody know that the Omar and Arinder Money Quest show is not going to be this Friday. It will be the following Friday, June 18th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And if you're another time zone, do the math. But that is, so just so you guys know that it has been delayed a week. And thank you everybody for your prayers.
And so can we just give Andrea a great big thank you? Come up off of mute, let her know how much we appreciate her and her time today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was
Thank
fun.
you.
Thank you, Andrea.
Great.
Thank you so much. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. I was reading your
Great.
messages in the chat. I appreciate you guys. See you soon.
Thank you.